the nuances of this teaching profession from a very young teacher's perspective. And I'm just taking this particular topic for discussion today. Share money. One second. Sorry, ma'am. Yes, I'm settled now. Okay, because it's all technology-driven classroom today that I'm delivering this lecture. And I came to know that there are around participants from 22 different states, or 22 participants from outside Karnataka. Am I right? And such a diversity in the composition of teachers is very, very rare for me to address. And today I'm privileged. I feel very happy being a senior teacher myself to just go through. I would like to make it more experiential rather than the slideshow, because I've been teaching at various levels. I've taught even at the high school level. I've taught at the post-PU, pre-university level. I've taught at the undergraduate level for a long time, fairly long time, say 13 years or so. Then I moved into university department in 2007. Since then, I've been in university. Therefore, looking at the kind of exposure that I've had across these spectrums, and teaching being a very noble profession, which actually makes you to put all that you have, if you are a passionate teacher, into the profession that you have chosen, at various levels that I've seen from last 30 years, and the kind of students that I've navigated, right from the late 80s and early 90s students to Gen Z students now. It's been an experience, that very few can experience because of the diversity of the student. Santosh Patil. ಇನ್ನು ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ನೀವು. Can somebody tell him? Okay. Now this has been a change. There has been a change. There has been innovation in the way that we have to take our profession, and the way that you have to present your case as a teacher with such heterogeneous students around you. So I would like to just share that experience with you people. Of course, the slides are there, but basically I would like to have an interaction. I would share my experience, and I would like to know whether you people have a similar kind of an experience or a better experience. Please be on the online and try to have an interaction. It's always nice to be with young teachers out there. Yes, I would say education is at a historic crossroad where tradition meets technology. We have seen as the Indian Gurukula system that we know as to how knowledge was transmitted. And now we have a AI-enabled classroom. Change has been the only thing which has been constant. I would put it in an informal way of saying, I've seen it all from chalk and talk, then click and talk, and we started using ICT technology. And then for a brief period, and even it has been now continued with this class also, act and talk. Post-COVID, we were made to act, teachers were made to act and talk. Only then teachers started becoming conscious about themselves as to how do they present themselves, how do they look, what should be the voice modulation whenever you are in front of the camera. It is more to do with the acting part of the lecture rather than the lecture part of the lecture. But anyway, we were up for it and we were able to pull it off with great colors, I would say. Now the question is, with AI in place, it is prompt and talk. Whatever that you do in an AI setting, it is prompt management, prompt engineering all around. So these are the phases that I have seen in my career of 30 years as a teacher. But whether all these phases have made teachers redundant, whether technology has swept the teachers off their feet, or whether teachers remain central even to this date. They remain the transmitters of knowledge, values, and critical inquiry. What is the role of a teacher? Whether technology has been able to replace them or whether the technology is only complementing them. What exactly is happening now will be the core of my lecture today, because higher education is now embracing change very responsibly while ensuring that the teachers retain their irreplaceable role as guides. If you look at the historical trajectory of Indian education, now we face an unprecedented disruption, mainly because of the reforms that has come in the form of NEP 2020 and the globe as a knowledge hub, as an education market. And no discussion these days goes without the mention of artificial intelligence. Now the students are no longer passive recipients. They seek customized, experiential, and employable learning. This is exact. Say, I am a teacher at the management department. I find the moment any student comes for an inquiry, the first question that they ask is, what is your placement record? Now, gone are those days when students used to join universities of repute, like us, University of Mysore, more than 108 years, the legacy of being the oldest university in the entire state of Karnataka. And our department being one of the most reputed departments. People used to come and they get a seat in Bahadur Institute of Management. In an university setup, we used to be at the very, very top. But today, everybody who comes over there, the first question that they ask is, what is the kind of employability that you people are generating? So therefore, universities, however prestigious that they are, unless they evolve, they will become irrelevant. So therefore, the task before us is not merely to adopt technology, but also to reimagine the academic mission in the light of the societal transformation. Society has gone for a transformation because of the digital revolution and its extensions, and therefore the teachers or the universities or the knowledge workers as such need to look at the societal transformations very deeply. Going by the different eras in which Indian education system has evolved from the Gurukula to the Nalanda to colonial reforms, and after British came into that English medium structured curricula and all those early universities. In fact, to a large extent, the education system in India, even though we have the roots very strongly drawn from Indian ethos, but the transformation with respect to making it applicable to a global system came with the advent of British. Then after independence, as you know, the constitution ensured that the education should be available to everybody irrespective of any discrimination. It's a process of democratization, having public universities or or institutions of utmost importance, wherein higher education, whether it is technical, management, scientific, is being made available to all sections of the social and economic status of our society. And today, now it's all about digital classrooms, AI, MOOCs. You're breaking the geographical and structural barriers. So therefore, you can notice that each stage shows that education has evolved with the society's needs. Now, where does that put teachers into? What is the challenge of change that a teacher looks at? There are teachers as the pillars of transformation is known to everybody. No one has taken the role of the teacher after Mata Pita. It is only Guru, Guru Devo. So therefore, teacher is next only to divinity. That's how our culture and the tradition over centuries have been able to address. But in this era, the teacher's role is not diminished, but it is redefined as mentor, interpreter, and guardian of wisdom. Just see that. It is redefined as a mentor, interpreter. You're a collaborator. You kind of assist the knowledge transfer from the knowledge base to the people who are the recipients, who are our students. And you look at the changes that has happened, reforms, as I said, technology, global competition, and the students' diversity. I would like to, make your attention on the kind of students that I look at in my department, so that you tell me whether you are also witnessing the same. The real challenge is not just to manage the change, but it is making more meaningful, ethical, and student-centered. How do you do that in the light of the kind of student composition that we see today? I would like to come to this. Now, we are there handling Gen Z students. See, my dear friends, I've been a teacher since 30 years. Teachers are always revered by the students, as I've seen. But I can see a very marked difference in the attitude of the students, the behaviors of the students in the last 5-6 years, especially post-COVID. And when I interact with them, I feel that, when I was into chalk and talk kind of a teaching, time period, to click and talk and act and talk was very tough for me. It was a mid-career crisis for me because we were traditional teachers. Even using a pen drive was something which we could not. Using PPT presentation like this was something which is completely out of the box for us those days. But somehow we managed that show. It was a mid-career crisis for me. But now I'm in a late career crisis. The late career crisis is because of the kinds of students that we are now teaching. Number one, they are digital natives. They are addicted to social media. On the one part, and I'm looking at the pros and the cons, but they are highly tech savvy and capable of mobilizing anything online. Then, very restless and impatient. I don't think, if at all you people tell me that you'll be able to take a class of 1.5 hours, keeping the students' interest and attention intact, I would say that that's a real miracle these days. The attention levels are very, very less. They're prone to anger, impulsive, and they're also energetic and passionate on the flip side. They're detached from tradition, culturally alienated. yet they are globally minded and acceptable. I'm raising some noise in between. Please, if at all there is any, please speak. Harshana Gaikwad, please keep your microphones off. They are arrogant, disrespectful, but independent thinkers who can challenge outdated norms. They are tied more to digital communities than to nations, because the nationalistic attitude is not there with them, but they're capable of building global collaborations. So this is the kind of Gen Z students that we are seeing in the classrooms. And as the teachers of Gen Z, what is the change that we have to inculcate in us? How do we innovate our teaching methodology in order to reach out to them? How to make them curious to sit in the class for the entire session? This is the kind of students that we are looking at. How do we regiment them? How do we make them come to the classes and sit in the classes? A $1 million question for me as the chairman of the department. I'm really finding this the greatest challenge of all. Very difficult, even whatever that has happened in Nepal is because of this kind of a Gen Z traits, but they're impatient. They're impatient and they're sometimes arrogant. And you can see these are the new time bombs I saw an article saying that these are the Gen Z are the time bombs that we have at our home. Forget about in the classrooms. I think if you are a little aged over there as parents, you will have those time bombs at home only. Because there is a certain amount of behavioral change in the DNAs itself because of the digitization. And that is making the job of a teacher even more complex and challenging. This is what I want. Now, what do we do as senior educators? What are the barriers for this innovation? How do we step up the tempo? How do we absorb the change? What are the bottlenecks that we have? One is faculties are not being able to adjust themselves to AI-driven classrooms, especially the senior educators. Even I am finding it very difficult kind of manage the show with the kind of inputs of the information or the knowledge base that the students are having at the click of their, at the press of a button. They have an access to anything and everything under the sun. And then also you will find in your colleges, I don't know which are the colleges what kind of colleges that you are working in. I think mostly government colleges where infrastructural and resource disparities. If you are in a city college, you will have all that infrastructure. But if you're in a remote, college, where a rural college, you'll find the challenges with respect to infrastructure on itself. And then the moment you have technology into place, there are certain ethical part of it. How do you maintain the data? What are the privacy issues? And then you are always resistant to change, because the moment a change is being imposed on you, or change is something that is expected of you, if you change the curriculum, for example, and I've been the BOS chairman of business management of undergraduate and PG, whenever you try to come out with something different, something new, there is always a resistance. There is always a resistance, not just from the teachers or the members of there will be resistance all through, because people are interested in knowing how much the credits, what are the teaching hours, what will be my workload. If at all this particular subject is being pushed into our curriculum, who is going to teach that? Say, for example, in commerce, it so happens if we put economics as a subject, Who will teach? Will it be the workload of commerce teachers or economics teachers? No, like this resistance, whenever you come out with a change, there will be resistance. And there will be, people will be having that anxiousness. In case if my workload is, getting down, will I be transferred to some other college? Therefore, I'll ensure that there are subjects there are units, there are guidelines, there are, rules and regulations. We'll see to that it is tailored to our advantage rather than as as a response to what the society needs from that particular course. So these are some of the barriers. Now, what is required? What is required? This is everybody knows. No, I'm not. This is only technical part that I'm talking about. That you have to recognize that there are certain gaps, change the pedagogy beyond lectures, make it more experiential, integrate AI tools, continuous skilling, not just for the students but also for the teachers. Now, this is one such exercise, right? It's a part of your soft skills development, and build culture of innovation sustained by values and collaboration. It is easier said than done. It is very easy to make a model like this and say you recognize, reimagine, reinvent, reskill, and reinforce. But whether are we innovative enough? The $1 million question that we have is, in spite of all the changes that is happening around us, as teachers, do we have that passion to adapt ourselves and adjust for the changes that is required? Only a passionate teacher can do that, irrespective of whatever the condition that is going to come, whatever the change and innovation that he is staring at. If as a teacher has that passion, see, when we were students, I come from a very remote village near Kola district, and all my education is in government schools till 10th standard. I did it in my mother tongue, which is Kannada medium. And today, looking back, when I look at those teachers, those are the teachers who have made me finally to now an university professor, and whatever the other designations that while introduction Dr. Nanjun Swami spoke about. But those are the primary high school and the PU teachers who made us what we are, because they were very passionate about teaching. There used to be a time when a teacher who is very highly passionate about his profession would take up teaching. Teaching was by choice, not by chance. So therefore, an innovative teacher would naturally adjust himself. It is there in his DNA. It is there in his DNA. But what has happened now? I've been seeing teachers who claim to be teachers on the basis of their qualification. And I am an NET pass. I am JRF. I am a doctorate holder. So I ought to be a teacher. But I've been taught by teachers who never had a PhD, who never had all this qualification. Only thing that they had was complete passion towards teaching. They were so compassionate. They used to take their teaching so dearly to their heart. They used to speak from their heart. They used to inspire. Even today, I don't remember the content that they have spoken in the classrooms, but I can recollect the kind of aura that they were able to create in the classroom, the feel that they gave in the classrooms. Our history teacher, madam, in first year, the first time I was listening to some strong English, good English, for the first time in my lifetime. And she was using the stage in such a way that whenever she was, teaching Panipat battle, all the students used to be in the battlefield itself. That was the voice modulation. That was the use of language. That was the use of, the expressions. outstanding teachers. If I ask you who are the teachers who have made all the difference in your life, you'll count on 1 or 2, 3 max. Because they've been able to, because a teacher's influence will never ever cease. It will be for their lifetime. So therefore, teachers are the champions of change. So you're talking about infrastructure. See, when I look at, say, University of Mysore, the iconic structure that we have as Crawford Hall, 100 years, beautiful, 530 or 600 acres of Manasa Gangotri campus created by Rashtrakavi Kuvempu, and it houses the teacher on whose birthday the entire country celebrates Teachers' Day, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. His house is in Mysore, just 1.5 kilometers from the place where I'm sitting now. This is a temple of learning. And this is a temple of learning because of the teachers, not the buildings, not the heritage structure, not the computer labs, not the stadiums and auditoriums, but because of the tireless efforts of innumerable teachers. Some of them have become Bharata Ratna. A rich legacy of people who have contributed to the development of this state, the Karnataka state, are from our University of Mysore. They are the ones who are the champions of change. They are the ones who confront obstacles, limited resources. We are in a public university. You're all working mostly in government colleges where resources are very, very limited. And in spite of those resources, you have to deliver with conviction. So therefore, these champions, the teachers that I'm talking about, the leaders that I'm talking about, people who head the institutions, head the universities, head the colleges, these are the ones who create institutional vision with classroom realities. Because without these kinds of people, innovation remains only in books. But with them, it becomes a practice, it becomes a culture, an organization culture. Let me now, just take a few minutes break, just to kind of know exactly what is happening on the other side. Am I being heard?
Yes, sir.
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಕನ್ನಡದವರು ಇದ್ದೀರಲ್ವಾ?
ಹಾ, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್.
Yes, sir.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ಐ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ನಾವು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಐ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಒನ್ Nobel Prize winning theory called as contract theory. Oliver Hart, the person who has written that economics paper, it's an economic contract theory. It got Nobel Prize in 2016-17, where he talks about any performance for that matter. He talks about in the context of a business, because I am a teacher of business management, in the context of a corporation, a business corporation, wherein the owners hires managers, means shareholders recruit managers. Managers perform on behalf of the recruiters, the owners. And they'll be given a mandate. What is that mandate? We are hiring you. We are giving you salary, compensation, perks, everything. Why for we are giving you? Because you are an expert in the field. You are experienced. You have every knowledge to run that business. We have only money from one angle, brains from another angle. This is called as a corporation. Lakshmi and Saraswati. Lakshmi coming from one angle, that is money being brought in by the owners, Saraswati is nothing but the brain, the expertise, the experience. You hire people, you give them salaries to take decisions. They take decisions in the best interest of the owners. We give you salary. What do you give in return? You give us profits. There is a contract. This is called as contracts. Now, when you hire people, now we are all being hired by, we are all as teachers, we are hired by the university, the government. We are agents. Owner is the government. Owner is the person who has recruited us. We are working on his behalf. They are giving me the salary. Compensation is being given to us. What is that they expect? They expect us to build the nations. We are the builders of nation. We have to create knowledgeable, ethical, and moral society. Create people with knowledge and character, so that moving ahead, those students will build the country, the nation. Now, this is the kind. Now, he says in that particular article, in that research article, he says, mostly these agents, some of them resort to unethical means. Means they will try to capture the contracts. They will show a rosy picture, even though it is not there. They resort to dysfunctional behavior. Say this is important. Dysfunctional behavior. He calls them as people who suffer from moral hazard. He calls them as, very simply put, lemons. People, they are called as lemons. Okay, now who are these people? He gives an example of teaching professionals. He says, when a teacher's promotion, his change the designation, all his future placements are tied to, say for example, the grades that the students take. There is a possibility that he may capture that contract and he would give grades, internal assessment, everybody 30 out of 30. Because in student assessment, they should not come back and give a bad remark on us. So therefore, you give full marks, full grades. Teachers assessment, you have to publish, say, 10 articles in, say, 5 years' time. Then teachers will produce 50 articles. You are required to accumulate 300 academic grade points. And our teachers will accumulate 5,000 academics. Sky is the limit. You are asking for 300, I will. How do they do? Is it humanly possible for anybody to kind of publish 50 articles in about 2-3 years? I have seen it around me, unfortunately. Dysfunction, this is called as dysfunction. So your job is to get into the class and deliver value to the students, make them responsible citizens of the country. That aside, what do you do? What do I want for getting my promotion? I want all this. Nobody asks me whether you're teaching the content, whether the students are happy. There's no evaluation like that. So therefore, so you are trying to put your efforts in such a behavior that would give you benefits more than your core behavior. So now if a teacher does it, if somebody else does it, say an engineer does it, or a revenue official does it, it may harm a small portion of the society. But if a teacher does it, the entire country gets into trouble. Okay, now this is one part of it. I just wanted to tell you that integrity is the most essential trait of a teacher. And if a teacher becomes corrupt, the society becomes corrupt. No doubt about it. And now, this is that traditionally we have been looking at teaching as the noblest profession ever. Now, coming to the technology part of it.
The number location allotment will not be able to generate the output.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please come again. So now, coming to technology part of it. Technology supports teaching. Technology will not completely displace teaching. It will complement, it will support. Because all this technology, I'm taking AI as one tool, supports this vision of Rabindranath Tagore, who says the main object of teaching is not to give explanation, but to knock at the doors of the mind, to instill curiosity, to make students inquisitive, to stimulate an inquiry bent of mind in them so that they explore themselves further. But only teachers bring the human essence, the values, the empathy, the moral reasoning. So therefore, the future lies in coexistence because we have no other option. We have no other option. You have to blend your wisdom with the technology. You have to leverage technology in order to drive more value to the students in the classrooms. This is what what do you call this as a trade-off between the tradition and the technology. Can AI be an academic partner? Yes, can AI help you to do any of the jobs which are regular jobs, mundane jobs, repetitive jobs? Yes, grading, analytics, and it can also personalize learning journeys for individual students. You can expand accessibility for rural and differently abled learners. See, this is the advantage of technology. Technology per se will not discriminate between haves and have-nots. If technology is given and the infrastructure is there, students, irrespective of their social and economic strata, will be able to absorb them. So that technology can be a great leveler. It provides insights that enrich teaching, and teachers will retain only the human dimension, the humanizing part, the mentorship, the ethics part, the emotional intelligence part. Because it is artificially intelligent, not emotionally intelligent, because it does not have flesh and blood. Technology does not have flesh and blood. They're not replacing the teachers, but they're augmenting their impact. Okay, now our job is as a facilitator, not as just knowledge transmitters. I am also part of the research that is being happening in our university. I'm a member of the Board of Studies, and currently I'm the chairman of the Board of Studies also. I also go around, see lots of researches that is happening around me. But let me tell you, if you ask me, teacher, researcher, teaching and research. If you ask me what is the percentage that people say that they're the two faces of the same coin. Research is the flip side of the teaching and vice versa. A teacher should also be a good researcher. One thing that I've seen, I always give 1 point extra to teaching only. If I give you, I will not give you 50, but I would say 51 to teaching, 49 to research. Because I can't offend teaching, research also. And I cannot completely push only teaching. But the thing is, whatever that I have seen, all good teachers are always good researchers. But all good researchers need not be good teachers. They can be good teachers. I'm not ruling out. But when a teacher is a good teacher, a passionate teacher, he'll be a passionate researcher also. It goes without saying, but not the other way around. You should, tell me whether I'm right or wrong. I'm not here to put,
Yes.
I'm right, you're right. No. It's just an interaction. I would like to take some cues from you. You're all the young teachers out there. I would like to know what is boiling in your minds when I say this.
Agreed, sir. Agreed. A teacher should be a researcher.
A teacher should be a researcher. But now, with the advent of technology, madam, do you know that researching is a joyful activity? I used to find it little cumbersome and kind of a complex activity. But there are so much of AI tools. Very recently, I was a participant in one of the presentations, one of the research centers of University of Mysore in management. One student had done a bibliometric analysis using RStudio as an AI tool. What the RStudio has done is they have an access to Scopus index journals. They have written the keywords. Say there are around 1,400 articles on that particular domain. Say, to be very, very specific, this is on corporate restructuring strategies. The 1,500 articles were listed. The keywords were searched. And those entire articles were exported using that AI tool into a Excel sheet. And all those Excel sheets were kind of analyzed using the same tool. And then the key authors of that particular domain, influential authors, how many authors have been referred to by all the researchers, how many hits that particular article has, what is the geographical base, whether US authors are more dominant in that particular field or Indian authors or the South Asian authors, the time dimension, what are the keywords, the cloud, word cloud, everything was given in about say 15 to 20 minutes. And as a teacher or as a researcher, your job is only to humanize. Just to check which are the articles which are very much a part of your research domain and read them out, understand them, and try to give that human touch. Sometimes it so happens it's technology. If there are certain words which have been repeatedly done by, used by, it may get swayed away. And it may say that yes, the direction of the research may go in that direction because technology as such does not understand. But as a researcher, if you know how to use that technology and at the same time how to humanize the content by giving the essential prompts. So I said prompt on top, prompt engineering at the very beginning. Let me tell you, one of the IIM directors in Calicut, Kozhikode, he has given an assignment to the students saying that this is the assignment for you. This is a broad area of the topic which has been given to you. You bring out your papers using AI, because even if you say don't you use AI, they will, because they are digital native. They are impatient. But he has evaluated on the basis of all the internal assessment was given on the basis of prompts. What are the list of, you give us the list of prompts that you have given. Forget about the AI has generated the content. You have got nothing to do with that. but it has generated the content because of the kind of prompts that you have given. So list the prompts and give it to me. And assessment will be based on the prompts. But in order to give those prompts, at least one should be, at least get under the skin of the subject, what exactly he wants. This is how, on the basis of the prompts, the quality of the output is generated and presented. And you are evaluated on the basis of prompts. This is an innovation that the teacher has done in a B school. In IIM Calicut, that I said, the director himself said that. So like that, as teachers, you have many innovative modes. Now, let me tell you what I have done. I have told students, go to library, get these 5 books. I have told them, these are the books which are considered to be the best in the financial management. Fundamentals of Financial Management by Van Horn. Marketing Management, Philip Kotler. Business Research Methods, Cooper. So I've given them the standardized textbooks, 5 textbooks. Ask them to write at least, given a few of the guidelines, the issues that it has to be drawn from the textbook only. You have to show me where it is being drawn and write it in your own handwriting. Go to library. All the librarian were telling us, sir, such a big infrastructure that we have created over a period of 25 years. All the alumni have contributed to this library. Nobody comes to the library. So now the thing is, how do you do? Make it interdisciplinary, project-based learning. Even use social media, peer network as a part of the pedagogy. So now, unless we change, unless we acquire new competencies in the light of the kind of resistance for changes that we have, and at the same time, the changes in this composition of the students, unless we have that passion. See, finally, it boils down to passion. And I'll come to the last part of it. Yes. I think this is self-explanatory. No technology can replace teachers. But teachers have more challenges than ever before. Teachers at the Gurukula system or the earlier ages, as I said, when I was doing my schooling, teachers were completely passionate about their job. But do we still have the same passion? Or do we succumb to whatever reductionism that is happening all over the place in teaching? Are we becoming, dysfunctional teachers? Are we very happy to give only grades to the students without creating any value in the classrooms? Are we self-centered? Keeping our positions, our, designations as the top priority than doing anything inside the classroom? Are we doing so? So these are the questions that we have to ask ourselves. If students are disoriented, if the students are not coming to the classes, if the students are aggressive, we cannot point fingers at them. If you point one finger at them, the 4 fingers are directed towards you. Can you make the transformation? Whether the teachers have the steel within them to do this turnaround. If at all there is anything in the education system which can do this transformation, this turnaround, it can be only a passionate teacher who can do that. This is what I have to say. And now I would like to take your views on that. I'm not saying here as a resource person, I am sitting here as a co-teacher. I would like to listen to you, and if at all your addition into whatever that I have spoken today makes me a better teacher tomorrow, my purpose of coming here will be done. Yes, I leave it to you now. ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರಲ್ಲ.
Of course, we see the transformation, sir, from Gurukula system to AI.
Yes.
And we are in a very critical situation wherein there is a threat that AI teachers may replace, but the emotional quotient is always there. The values, all that cannot be taught by the AI. So there can't be any replacement for a good, passionate, committed teacher.
So our profession is safe, unlike other professions which face
As long as we are committed and innovative and
Yes, do you have that kind of a ecosystem in place in your educational institution or in the education system as such, higher education system in whichever state that you are from? Do you feel that the environment is conducive to take on technology head on? To take technology head on as teachers and tame technology?
not so much, sir. But after COVID, I think we are getting used to.
Okay. Whether the pedagogy the curriculum part, whether you feel that you have been able to deliver the required kind of knowledge, which is a technology-based curriculum, mixed curriculum. Are you giving that to the students through constant revision of the curriculum? ಬೇರೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿ. I will just close this show. This is my place where I work. And if at all there are any queries, you can even post it on my mail. I'll be very happy to receive them. But one thing that my teachers used to tell me, and I would like to quote a few of them. When I was teaching as I said, at the PU level, one of the teachers who gave me this advice is that as you climb the ladder, you become a, say, undergraduate level teacher, and then you become, say, PG level teacher, or even you guide PhD students. As the level of your teaching increases, as a teacher, you have to become more and more simple, more and more accessible. And in simplicity lies the true essence of a teacher. You'll be able to put things across in as simple language as possible as you go up. Because as you go up, you have to understand the entire subject in toto. And a teacher who understands then will be able to put it in simple language. A person who does not will complicate. This is what he used to tell me. And as we move on, move up, as you take up higher positions, your teaching should become more simple and simple. And the research part should become more rigorous.